You wake up, and before your day even starts, your mind is already tired. Not because you did something, but because you were thinking. Scrolling, comparing, imagining things that haven't even happened. And somehow, your whole day feels heavy, before it even begins. You tell yourself, I just need to stop overthinking. But here's the truth no one tells you, you are not overthinking. You are stuck. Because if it was just thinking, you could stop it. But you can't. It keeps coming back, again, and again, and again, like a loop you didn't choose, but somehow, you're trapped inside it. And the worst part, you don't even notice when it starts. It feels normal. It feels like you. But what if I told you, this is not your personality? This is a pattern. A pattern your brain learned, and now refuses to let go. Your thoughts are not random. They are programmed. Repeated. Replayed. Until they feel like truth. And right now, your entire day, your energy, your mood, is being controlled. By thoughts. You didn't even choose. So the real question is not, how do I stop overthinking? The real question is, who is thinking, and why can't you stop it? Because once you see this, you don't just control your thoughts, you take your life back. It doesn't start suddenly, it starts small. A single thought. What if something goes wrong? And before you even realize, your mind grabs it. Expands it. Repeats it. You think you are solving a problem. But you're not. You are feeding a loop. One thought becomes 10. 10 become a story. And that story starts feeling real. Even when nothing has actually happened. Your body reacts, heart beats faster, chest feels tight, energy drops, and now, you're not just thinking, you're feeling it. This is where the trap closes. Because once you feel it, your brain believes it. So it sends more thoughts, more fear. More, what if? And now you're stuck. Not in reality, but in a simulation your mind created. The same thoughts, every day. The same worries, every night. The same conversations, replaying again and again. And you don't question it. Because it feels like thinking. But it's not thinking. It's repetition. A loop. Running in the background. Controlling your focus. Controlling your mood. Controlling your life, without your permission. And here's the scary part, the longer it runs, the stronger it becomes. Because your brain learns through repetition. What you repeat, you become. So every time you go back to that same thought, you are not solving it, you are strengthening it. Until one day, it doesn't feel like a thought anymore, it feels like who you are. And that's the moment, you stop questioning it. You accept it. You live inside it. But this loop was never you. It was built. Step by step. Thought by thought. And if it was built, it can be broken. But first, you have to see it. You think something is wrong with you, but it's not. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do. There is a system inside your mind, always active. Always running. Even when you are doing nothing. It's called the default mode network. And its job is simple. Think about the past. Predict the future. Keep you safe. Sounds helpful, but it's not. Because this system doesn't care about your happiness. It cares about survival. So it keeps scanning for problems. Looking for danger. Creating what-if scenarios, even when everything is fine. That's why, when you sit alone, your mind doesn't become calm. It becomes loud. It starts replaying old memories, past mistakes, things you wish you did differently. Or it jumps into the future, imagining failure, rejection, worst-case scenarios. And you think, I need to control my thoughts. But here's the truth, this system runs automatically. You didn't start it. And you can't just stop it. Because to your brain, overthinking is protection. If it keeps you worried, it believes it is keeping you prepared. If it keeps you anxious, it thinks it is keeping you alert. But in reality, it's doing the opposite. It drains your energy, kills your focus, steals your present moment. And the more you fight it, the stronger it becomes. Because attention is fuel. Whatever you focus on, your brain builds more of it. So when you try to fix your thoughts, you are still feeding them. That's why you feel stuck. Not because you are weak, but because you are using the wrong approach. You are trying to control a system that was never meant to be controlled. And until you understand this, you will keep fighting your own mind and losing. But once you see how this system works, everything changes. Because now, you stop fighting and start understanding. You think overthinking is your problem, but what if it's actually your strength? Because the truth is, most people who overthink are not weak. They are aware. They notice more. They analyze more. They see things others completely ignore. And at first, this feels like power. You understand people better. You predict outcomes. You think ahead. But slowly, something changes. That same ability starts turning against you. Because now, you don't just see possibilities, you see too many of them. Every decision becomes complicated. Every situation has layers. Every choice feels risky. And your mind says, think more, so you don't make a mistake. But the more you think, the less you act. You start doubting simple decisions. Replaying conversations. Imagining different versions of reality that don't even exist. And now, your intelligence becomes a trap. Because instead of moving forward, you stay stuck in analysis. This is called analysis paralysis. Where thinking feels productive, but nothing actually changes. And here's the dangerous part, it feels like you are doing something. But you are not. You are just staying in your head. Avoiding action. Avoiding uncertainty. Avoiding reality, because thinking feels safe. Action does not. So your brain chooses thinking. Again. And again. And again. Until one day, you realize. You didn't fail because you couldn't do it, you failed because you never moved. And now, you are not trapped by your thoughts, you are trapped by your potential. And that hurts more. Because deep down, you know you are capable. But something inside you keeps holding you back. Not fear. Not laziness. Something deeper. Something you still haven't seen. You think your thoughts are happening now, but they are not. Most of what you think today was created years ago. A moment. A reaction. A feeling you didn't understand back then. Maybe someone judged you. Maybe you failed. Maybe you felt ignored, rejected, not enough. And in that moment, your brain learns something. Be careful. Don't make mistakes. Think before you act. At first, it was just protection. But your brain doesn't know time. It doesn't know. That moment is over. So it keeps repeating the same pattern, again and again, as if it's still happening. That's why you overthink small things. Because your brain is not reacting to the present, it's reacting to the past. Every fear, every doubt, every hesitation, is just an old memory, disguised as a new thought. And the more emotion attached to that memory, the stronger the loop becomes. Because emotions are what make memories stick. The stronger you felt back then, the deeper it got wired into your brain. And now, you don't just remember it, you live it. Without realizing it. That's why you feel stuck. Not because you can't move forward, but because something inside you is still holding on, still trying to protect you from something that already happened. And here's the truth most people never accept: you are not overthinking your future, you are reliving your past. In different situations, with different people, but the same patterns. And until you break that pattern, nothing changes. New day, same thoughts. New opportunity, same fear. New life, same mind. Because your brain is not looking for truth, it's looking for familiarity. Even if that familiarity hurts you. So the real question is not, how do I stop overthinking? The real question is, why does your mind keep going back to something that no longer exists? Because once you understand this, you stop blaming yourself and start seeing the pattern. You think you are stuck in your thoughts, but it's deeper than that. You are addicted to them. Not the thoughts themselves, but the feeling they create. Because every thought triggers a chemical reaction in your body. Fear releases stress hormones. Doubt creates tension. Anxiety keeps your system alert. And your body gets used to it. Day by day, thought by thought, your body starts expecting those same emotions. Like a pattern. Like a routine. And now, something strange happens. Even when nothing is wrong, your mind creates a problem. Just to feel something familiar. Because your body is addicted to that feeling. That stress. That overthinking. That emotional intensity. It sounds crazy, but it's real. You are not just thinking your thoughts, your body is demanding them. That's why you can't stop. Even when you want to. Because now, it's not just in your mind. It's in your biology. Your system is wired to go back to the same emotional state. Again, and again, and again, and when you try to stop, you feel uncomfortable. Restless. Empty. Uneasy. Not because something is wrong, but because something is missing. The familiar feeling. So your mind quickly jumps back to old thoughts, old fears, old patterns. Just to feel normal again. And now, you understand the real trap. You are not controlled by thoughts, you are controlled by the emotions. Your body is addicted to. And until you break that addiction, you will keep returning to the same mental loop. No matter how hard you try. Because willpower is not enough when your body is pulling you back. This is not a thinking problem. This is a conditioning problem. And once you see this, you stop forcing yourself to change, and start understanding why you keep going back. At this point, you already know something is wrong. You know you are overthinking. You know it's draining you. You know it's holding you back. And still, you don't stop. Why? Because stopping means something else. Something your mind is afraid of. The unknown. See, overthinking feels uncomfortable. But it's familiar. You know how it feels. You know what comes next. You know who you are inside it. But if you stop, everything changes. No constant thoughts. No constant control. No constant analysis. Just silence. And that silence feels dangerous. Because in that space, you don't know what will happen. Who will you be without all those thoughts? What if things go wrong? What if you lose control? What if you fail? So your mind chooses something else. It chooses certainty. Even if it hurts. Because pain you understand feels safer than peace you don't. That's why, every time you try to change, you go back. Not because you are weak, but because your brain prefers predictability. It would rather keep you stuck than risk something unknown. So it creates excuses. I'll start tomorrow. I just need to think a little more. This is not the right time. And you believe it. Because it sounds logical, but it's not logic. It's fear, disguised as thinking. And the more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. Until you don't even try anymore. You just stay where you are. Thinking, waiting, delaying, and calling it being careful. But deep down, you know the truth. You are not being careful. You are being controlled. By a mind that is afraid to let go. So the real shift begins when you stop asking, how do I fix this? And start asking, what am I afraid to leave behind? Because until you face that fear, you will keep choosing the same loop over a new life. At some point, you get tired. Not physically, but mentally. Tired of thinking the same thoughts. Tired of feeling the same emotions. Tired of living the same day, again and again. And suddenly, something inside you shifts. You pause. For the first time, you don't react. You just notice. The thoughts are still there, but you are not inside them anymore. You are watching them. And in that moment, something strange happens. You realize. These are just thoughts. Not truth. Not reality. Not you. Just patterns, running on repeat. And for the first time, you feel a small gap. A space, between you and your mind. That space is everything. Because in that space, you are no longer controlled. You are aware. And awareness breaks the loop. Not by force. Not by fighting. But by seeing. Because once you truly see a pattern, it loses its power. You don't have to stop the thought. You just stop believing it. And suddenly, the same thought that controlled you before feels weaker. Quieter. Distant. It's still there, but it doesn't own you anymore. And this is the moment most people miss. Because they go back. Back into the loop. Back into reaction. Back into the same identity. But if you stay here, just a little longer, if you stay aware, without reacting, something deeper begins to change. You are no longer your past. You are no longer your patterns. You are the one observing them. And that changes everything. Now you see it. The loop. The pattern. The way your mind pulls you back. So the question is, what do you do now? Not to fight it. Not to stop it. But to take your control back. First, you stop trying to control your thoughts. Because control creates resistance. And resistance feeds the loop. Instead, you observe. When a thought comes, you don't react. You don't follow. You don't argue. You just notice. This is a thought. And then, you let it pass. Like a cloud, moving across the sky. No attachment. No judgment. Just awareness. At first, it feels strange, because your mind will try to pull you back. It will say, think about this. Don't ignore it. This is important. But now, you see the trick. So you don't chase it. You return to the present moment. Your breath. Your body. This moment. Again, and again, and again. And every time you do this, you weaken the loop. Not instantly. But gradually. Because what you don't feed, starts to die. And what you observe, loses control over you. This is not about becoming perfect. You will still think. You will still feel. You will still fall back sometimes. But now, you won't get lost. You will catch it, earlier. Faster. Stronger. And that is real control. Not controlling the mind, but not being controlled by it. Because control is not force. Control is awareness. Right now, nothing outside you has changed. Same life. Same people. Same world. But something inside you is different. You can see it now. The thoughts. the patterns, the loop that was running your life. And for the first time, you are not inside it. You are watching it. That changes everything. Because your life was never controlled by your situation, it was controlled by your mind. And now, you've taken that control back. Not by force. Not by fighting. But by seeing. And once you see, you can't unsee. That's the point of no return. Because from this moment, every thought you follow is a choice. Every reaction is a choice. Every day you live is a choice. And now, the real question begins. Will you go back to the same loop? Or will you finally step out and become someone new? Because this is how change starts. Not outside. Inside. Quietly. One thought at a time. One moment at a time. And if you stay aware, if you keep noticing, if you keep choosing differently, your life will change. Not suddenly, but permanently. Because you are no longer the same person who started this video. You are more aware, more conscious, more in control. And most people never reach this point. They stay stuck. They stay unaware. They stay controlled. But you didn't. So don't go back. Because your mind will try. It will pull you again. It will whisper the same old thoughts. But now, you know better. And once you know, you don't follow. You choose. This is not motivation. This is awareness. And awareness changes everything. So the next time your mind tries to control you, pause, notice, and remember. You are not your thoughts. You are the one watching them. And that is your power.